I'm going to pull up a screen share here now to talk about our Fannie Mae rental integration. So, just as a quick preface, we have a Fannie Mae integration. We've had this up and running for a while with our self-employment income calculations. Fannie Mae also offers an integration with rental income. So we now support this. It is live and it works for any borrower of yours that has a Schedule E documenting their rental income. So I will um, I will go through this now and just sort of show you the pieces and parts of how you get this integration to apply. Let me see. Here's what I want to share. Okay. All right, we're here. So this is the Ocrolus dashboard. Hopefully everybody here does know how to navigate there through additional services in Encompass. So this is the main income hub when you log into our dashboard. I'm going to click on rental income because that is what we're talking about today. So just to be clear with what's going on, again, this is Fannie Mae only. So your guidelines need to be configured to Fannie Mae here in the dropdown. If you're in Encompass and your loan is locked, we'll pull that and put Fannie Mae as the guidelines automatically. If you're unlocked, if your rate is not locked yet, or if you're using Ocrolus outside of Encompass, you control these pieces here. So just make sure that you do have this configured to Fannie Mae for this to be an option. Um, so it's clear as well. On the right side is how you can control whether you're using the Fannie Mae integration. You'll see it says per Fannie Mae calc or the Ocrolus calculation. I've been playing with these numbers here earlier, so they're different now. But in the event you ever want to override and just use your own values, you always have the choice to click on the manual calc. We're going to give you a quick warning and say, hey, you're going off the Fannie Mae integration. If you're okay with that, you'd hit override, and then you can edit all the values. Otherwise, like our other integrations, you will see these little locks on here. So for the Fannie Mae integration, they're using the data right from the documents that we've captured with no ability to change those, and that's by design. That's why those locks are on there. So that's just a couple quick things here and there for the visuals. But how to get this green bar? This green bar is actually what indicates that the integration is, or that the values are calculated according to Fannie Mae, and it's all been rep and warranted. So to view input fields, that's what I want to click on first. And here's where we have the fill in the blanks. So again, just like with our self-employment integration with Fannie Mae, they do have some required fields that can vary from loan to loan. There's edge cases like if there's border income or some of those more unique scenarios that we have to account for and give you the chance to tell us and tell Fannie Mae about that kind of stuff. And that is what this screen here does right here. So for most of these, it's going to be the same stuff that you'll fill in. But just to walk through this from top to bottom, you do have the chance to fill in the subject property and the primary residence. DU case file ID will fill in as long as you've run AUS on your loan file. And you can also indicate here if the borrower has management experience or not for managing rental properties. As you know, this is a requirement in certain instances that this has to be a yes. This is a loan file. This example that I have only has one rental property. If there were multiple, each of these screens would be independent for the address for each property, and there are little cards that would differentiate each of the property addresses. This field here, the property type, there's fill in the blanks. We try to make it easy on you. So you just fill in what it is. Probably going to be one of these first couple, but you have all these other choices. So I'm going to select and stay here with single family residence. This one here is indicating, is the property an investment property? This is going to be the vast majority of times a yes, but again, maybe it's a border income scenario. So you could actually toggle this to be a no in the event that the rental income is coming from a non-investment property. Again, like I mentioned, you're going to probably have the same sort of flow on a lot of these, so I'll keep that as a yes. The rest of these details are just to fill in the blanks for expenses. So Fannie Mae does require that you fill in the PIDIA for the property. So principal, interest, tax, insurance, and association dues. Hopefully we all know that term. But you can fill in that value right here in this line, 1250. I just threw in kind of a random number just to get the feedback from Fannie Mae. Fair rental days, we will pull this from the document, from the Schedule E. You can change it if it's necessary. You'll see if it's less than 365, this detail piece comes up as a required field. And these are pretty familiar values, but if there were renovations or maybe it's a newly acquired property, those details are things that Fannie Mae needs to know. There's going to be some additional documentation that they will require from one of their pieces of feedback. So this is how you can tell Fannie Mae about that. So again, this is just regarding to the fair rental days, how many days for the year the property was in service. So just to make sure that the calculations are aligned with what's present on the Schedule E, we have those values right here. I'm going to stick with 365 because that's what's on the document. So you'll see that that requirement goes away for the detail in that case. These again are sort of like a little bit of a waterfall if there were less than 365. We're not on a border income scenario, but if we were, this would also pop up as a red field that you need to fill out. And then again, a couple pieces of the puzzle if they apply with regard to other less than common or less than regular things down here, one-time expenses and so forth. Once these are all filled in, I'm actually going to change this to multifamily so I can click submit. I had previously hit submit on this one when it was single family. But I just want to show you what it looks like. So once you fill in these fields as you need to, that took us a minute there. You'll hit submit. This takes a few seconds. This is now bouncing all this data, what we've captured as well as your input values through Fannie Mae. You'll see details submitted successfully. This comes back with a green banner indicating that these calculations are now rep and warranted from Fannie Mae. So this is great. That's really all the steps that it took to get an output value that is now rep and warranted, which kind of the gold standard. If you have multiple rental properties, again, they'll show up here, so you can independently see the calculations that take place, but you only have to go to the view input fields one time. So just to hop back here, again, if there were multiple properties, they would be shown with little cards. So you don't have to do this, input fields thing like every single time. You just click that button once, navigate through each of the properties, hit save and run once you're done, and it does it all at once. The final piece of the puzzle is you want to get your income worksheet. So the download button right here, if you can see where I'm circling, the zip file is going to contain Fannie Mae documentation that will represent this Fannie Mae rep and warranted income calculation. So it's Fannie Mae specific income calculation documentation that's present in the zip. That's the one you'll want whenever you have the Fannie Mae integration. That applies for the self-employment integration just like it does for the rental property integration. So again, you'll want to download the zip file. That downloads to your computer. You do have to just drop that into the E folder. If you're in Encompass or if you're in a different LOS, you can, of course, upload that to your system of record to show that you have the Fannie Mae rep and warrant. That's the extent of it. There should not be the expectation that anything from here yet will show up in AUS findings. Fannie Mae's system here is not quite connected yet with AUS. I believe it will be here at some point in the relative near future. When that happens, we will communicate that with all of you with a big smile on our faces. But in the interim, don't expect there to be feedback on AUS. I just want to make sure that that's clear. That is not how this integration works. This worksheet is the big key piece to show in your system of record that you do have income that was run through this integration. All right. Maybe in record time, we went through this one. Let me see. I can lean on my peers here. Do we have any questions, Q&As that have popped up as I've been clicking through here?
Not yet, but Anthony, do you want to show them where they can find their resources for rental income through Ocrolus?
Good point. Good point. So this is common practice on any of these tabs. You'll see at the very bottom, we like to make it like a little ninja down here. But if you scroll down, you can quickly access little how-tos for each of the different income sections. We link you directly to each section. So in the event you have a question, a little bit of confusion, hey, this is a new thing, how do I do this or that? These quick links will take you right to our docs pages, and you'll see this load up here. This is our rental income docs page that explains the entire use case itself. So again, if I can flip back here to the income worksheets, it's at the very bottom, and I'll just show you if I click over to the self-employment one, for example. It also is a little ninja, but it's at the very bottom, hiding down here. And you can access each of these from all of these. You can access all of these from each of these tabs. These are helpful resources. Don't forget they're down there, and they can be of good help when you need it. All
And at
right, let's.
this time, it doesn't look like there's any questions in the Q&A, Anthony. So um, I will kick it back over to you.
All right, going once, going twice. Any other questions in the Q&A? Feel free to shout it out. We will, of course, be here if you need us. You can reach us directly. You have an account manager, or you can also reach support at ocrolus.com if you have a question. This is up and running. We can get this turned on in your environments if it is not already. So please reach out if that's needed. And otherwise, have a good rest of your day and week. Thanks for joining.